Okay, guys. Who here remembers the lightning talk yesterday about doing your first pull request? Hands up. Who here has actually done a pull request successfully? Who has not done a successful pull request? Don't be shy. There's probably more of you. One of the problems with today's open source world is that we have a gatekeeper at all of these projects. So what I'm going to talk to you about is C4, which is the collective agreement for doing contributions by Pieter Hintjens. And some of you might have some problems with it because it goes against the grain of how you control or make sure that an open source project doesn't go astray. And like a baby, you don't want that to be, falling over and hurting itself. You want to baby your open source project. But we all know that the truth is to actually let it alone and let it learn its own things. So one of the interesting things that this collective agreement, C4, does is it says the minute you have a pull request, you accept it immediately. You don't even think twice. So everything that we heard yesterday is great from your side for what it takes to actually go and contribute to a project. What you want to do is to answer that from the other side by making sure that your project accepts everyone that wants to contribute, no matter how junior they are. You might think to yourself, well, that's just going to give me a lot of really bad code. And my project's going to fail because I'm going to have contributions for people that don't know what they're doing. They have agendas. They want to deflect the project. You know what? Open source has a way of correcting itself, and we see this in many ways. We see this with ZeroMQ as a project that was forked off another queuing mechanism. We see this as OpenOffice being strangled by a large corporation. What happened there? We forked that project, and we have LibreOffice. Open source can correct itself, and you have to trust that the people that are going to contribute to it are going to do a good job on aggregate. In this collective agreement, there are provisions for bad actors and people that will abuse the system. So that's the only way that you will ban someone from contributing, is if they're actively harming the project intentionally. Otherwise, if you have a bad pull request, you still accept it. But what you do is you go ahead and fix the problem immediately after. You never throw your hand in front of someone's face that wants to get involved in your community. You have to be open and accepting from everyone that wants to contribute. And that's one of the most powerful things you can get with C4. So I encourage you to take a look at Pieter Hintjens' work, his book about this whole thing as well, and take a look how you can actually get involved and how many of there's a lot of people here with open source projects, a ton of you. And I encourage you to change your policies as to how you take pull requests and invite everyone to do it. Put it back on yourself to correct people's mistakes. Don't shove your hand in their face. There's a few things about the mechanics of this. It moves all of the Git. Everyone knows me from a lot of the Git stuff that I do and branching, etc. I've had to throw that all away. I don't want Git to get in the way of contributions. So we use master on this. Everyone contributes, and the pull requests are accepted right into master. That removes a lot of complexity, and it moves to a trunk-based model, which a lot of people are not fans of, but it simplifies things. It allows someone to go and edit that file right in GitHub and just use those buttons to contribute. So any questions? I want to leave the last 30 seconds for a question. Okay, no questions, Linux. Glenn's the boss. Thank you. So I encourage you to take a look at Pieter Hintjens C4 and open up your communities. Let everyone contribute. You'll be better for it. Thank you.